Today, we're tackling this whole idea of the GED. Is it the right path? Is it right for you? We're going to figure out what this alternative to a traditional high school diploma is all about. It's a big decision, for sure. We're going to break it all down, help you make the best choice for, your own situation. And we've got a great source right here who can take the GED test. Right off the bat, got me thinking, it's not like you just wake up and say, GED, please. Right. There are some hoops to jump through. The age thing, for instance, like you got to be at least 16 in most states. 16? I didn't know that. Yeah. You might need like your parents' permission, or even the school district has to say it's okay. And obviously you can't still be in high school. So it's really for people who, for whatever reason, high school wasn't working out. Yeah, exactly. But then the source got me thinking, what if like someone's life experiences have taught them those social skills, that real world stuff you don't always get in the classroom? Would the GED just be like proving what they already know? Right, like managing a team at work, that's going to teach you some people skills, but those aren't going to help you pass the math section, right? You're hitting on a key point. The source is really clear. The GED is about academic knowledge. It's not about replacing everything about high school. So it's more about proving you've learned the same stuff, just maybe not in the same way. Exactly. It's like showing you've got that same level of academic, I guess proficiency is the word. Proficiency. I like it. Right. And we had some interesting points. Yeah, like maybe you're older now, past typical high school age, or life just, threw you a curveball. They even mentioned international students. Like if you need a US equivalent of a diploma, it shows how flexible the GED is. Yeah. For all sorts of people. It's about possibilities, not fitting into some box. Yeah, I hear that. Okay, but let's be real. Flexible only gets you so far, right? You got to pass the test. That's where things get real. And luckily, the source had a bunch of test prep tips. Totally. Having a plan is key. And they had some good ones. Some really good ones. Okay, I literally laughed out loud at this one. Answer every question, even if you have to guess. That's huge. Right. No penalty for wrong answers. Game changer. Completely changes how you approach the whole thing. You'd never leave anything blank. Exactly. You got to play the odds, especially on multiple choice. Minimize that risk. Maximize those points. So like if I'm stuck on a question, just take my best guess and move on. That's the idea. Wow. That takes so much pressure off. Okay. What else did they recommend for, actually tackling these different sections? What did they say? They really broke it down by subject, which I thought was helpful. Like for math, they weren't saying go memorize every formula. It was more like know a few key ones, area of a circle, that kind of thing. Yeah, they use brain space for the rest of the test. Smart, work smarter, not harder. Yeah, exactly. But what about those moments when you just hit a wall? Like you have no idea. Oh, they had a good tip for that. Working backward. Yeah. Like sometimes it's faster to just plug in the answer choices. Yeah. See if they work instead of struggling through the whole equation. Whoa, that's like next level test taking. Okay, what about language arts? That always feels more subjective, like how do you even study for that? Right. But they stressed reading objectively. Yeah, especially when they give you those passages with like opposing viewpoints. Oh, I hate the... Yeah, but it's like put on your detective hat. Analyze the argument itself, not just whether you agree with it. So it's more about how the argument's built, less about my own opinions. Exactly. And that ties into what they said for the extended response, which often involves those like big, meaty issues. Citing specific examples from the text, that's crucial. Oh, so you can't just say, I think this. You got to back it up. You got to have the evidence. Like you're building a case in court. Yeah. And that whole analyzing different perspectives thing, super important for social studies too. Speaking of which, any surprises in the social studies prep? Was it all about like memorizing dates and names? Actually, no. They were really big on understanding the author's viewpoint in historical documents, whether it's like an old newspaper article or even a modern day blog post, So it's more about context than just memorizing facts. Totally. It's like, what's the bigger picture? Cause and effect. You might not need the exact date of a battle, but understanding why it happened is way more important. Music to my ears. No more cramming random trivia. I'm in. Okay, what about science? Any curveballs there? Time management. That's huge in science. They said it's different because the short answer and multiple choice questions aren't separated out. Oh, interesting. So you can't just like power through all the multiple choice, then focus on the written stuff. Right. You got to be strategic with your time the whole way through. Gotcha. Pace yourself. Okay, what else? And just like social studies, analyzing those charts and graphs, super important. They're not just there for decoration. Nope. You have to really understand what that data means, and often connect it back to the text too. It's almost like they're testing if you can, put different pieces of information together. Ooh, like a puzzle. Okay, I'm into that. Anything else for science? Brush up on your physical science knowledge. Yeah, apparently a good chunk of the science section focuses on those concepts. Physical science it is, so it's like you got to understand the facts, but then also like what do they mean? Connect the dots. Exactly. And that's really what the GED is all about, right? It's those critical thinking skills, the stuff employers want, colleges too. It's like this source is saying, look, we get it. Right. You bring your own experiences to the table, your own perspective. Okay, so back to that question we started with. Is the GED right for you? I mean, no easy answers, Ray. Definitely not. But I mean, we've covered a lot of ground. Hopefully it helps people decide. Yeah, for sure. We talked about who can even take it, why it might be a good fit, and even how to ace the darn thing. Eligibility, test prep, we covered it all. We did. But you know me, gotta leave our listeners with something to think about. This whole thing got me wondering, with all these other ways to learn nowadays, online courses and all that, does traditional high school even need to change to keep up? Wow. Yeah, that's a big one. How's education going to evolve? Big questions. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder all that.